All right, so you're ready to dive into Hunters AD 1492.
Ready to face the mist and those remnants of ancient beings. Let's get you set up and ready to hunt.
So first things first, we've got this stack of cards.
Yes. Those are the map cards. 20 of them. Labeled M01 through M20.
And they're going to be our map.
That's right. They form the region map, the whole area where your adventures will unfold. Think of it like piecing together the world.
Okay, cool. So how do we lay them out?
Face down.
Yeah.
Starting with M01 in the upper left corner, like you're reading a book. Left to right, row by row.
Got it. M01, top left, face down, going across like rows in a book.
Perfect. Now there's one exception. Card M05, that one starts face up.
M05, face up. Why is that one different?
Hits your starting point. Dense forest near a town called Pennsburg.
Pennsburg, huh? Sounds ominous already.
You'll find out soon enough. Oh, and one more tip. That binder the game comes with, use it.
For the map cards.
Yeah. As the game goes on, your explored area will grow, so the map expands. Keeps things organized.
Smart. So map cards down. What's next?
We've got town cards and road cards. Shuffle those town cards.
What are those like?
Oh, they're cool. They show scenes from medieval life, blacksmiths, alchemists, markets, lots of activity.
So like bustling town centers.
Exactly. Full of opportunities for your hunters.
Sounds like we'll need to visit those towns.
Definitely. Now, the road cards, you'll have 3 piles, level 1, level 2, and level 3.
Okay, 3 piles for the road cards. Got it.
Make sure you shuffle each pile. Oh, and there's one very important card, the beginning.
The beginning. What's so special about that one?
It goes at the very bottom of the level 1 pile, winding road disappearing into the mist. Very important for later, don't forget.
Okay, I won't. The beginning at the bottom of level 1 road cards. Noted. What's next?
Plot cards and task cards. We
Yeah.
have small plot, large plot, and task cards. Don't shuffle these, just separate piles.
Okay. No shuffling for those. Just 3 separate piles. Easy enough.
And then we have the wagon board.
Wagon board.
Think of it as your mobile base for crafting, managing resources. Just set it up according to the rulebook for now.
All right. Wagon board set up. Done.
Now a few more basic components. You'll see a days track. Place the wooden cube on space 1. It's like the clock of the game ticking. 60 days to achieve your goals.
60 days. Sounds like we're on a tight schedule.
And keep the location cards nearby in a pile. We won't need those right away.
Okay, location cards, separate pile. Check.
Now for a message from Duke Ulrich von Leiberich himself.
The Duke.
Yep, it's in the Tome of Tales. The introduction gives you the background, the reason you're even doing this.
Like a personal message to kick things off. I like it.
Adds some flavor to the setup. Now grab plot card 001.
001, let me find that. Okay, got it. It's a lonely figure in front of an archway.
Place that face down on map card M05. Remember the one that's face up?
Right on M05, face down.
You'll notice it has a red triangle on the back with a quill. Means you flip and read it when you get there. Like a little story unfolding.
Add some mystery to the exploration. I like it.
And finally, your hunter's marker. A little wooden disc with a hunting horn goes on M05. That's your starting position.
Right. Hunter's marker on M05. So we've set the stage, gotten our marching orders. What's next? Choosing our heroes.
Exactly. Time to pick who you'll be facing the mist with.
Okay, so each player grabs a hero board. I'll be the Landsnecht.
Good choice. Strong and dependable. The boards are nicely illustrated, showing each hero. There's a section for equipment and another for hero-specific stuff, like their special skills and all.
Right, I see. And there's a diagram on the back. What's this for?
Ah, that shows which equipment slots each hero can actually use. Not everyone can use everything. You know, like a scholar wouldn't be very good with a heavy battle axe.
Makes sense. I'll cover up the unusable slots on my board.
Good idea. And once you have your hero, it's time for the big reveal. Flip that plot card 001 and read it aloud.
All right, let's see what adventure awaits.
That's the start of your journey, the first step into the mist. Now that we have the basic setup done, let's look closer at what we've got here.
Okay, yeah, we've got our map laid out. What else should we be looking at?
Let's look at those town cards again.
What about them?
Well, they're not just placeholders. Each one has a really cool illustration showing you what life was like back then.
Oh, yeah, like that blacksmith with a hammer and anvil. Pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. And you can almost imagine what it was like to walk through those towns. You know, the sounds, the smells, all that stuff.
So they're more than just game pieces. They're like little windows into the past.
That's a good way to put it. And, you know, each card has symbols, too. They tell you what you can do in each town.
So some towns are better for getting weapons, some are better for finding information, that kind of thing?
Right. So you have to plan your travels carefully based on what your heroes need.
Okay, makes sense. So the town cards are important.
Right.
What about the road cards? We set those out earlier, too.
The road cards, yeah, these represent the journeys between the towns, and they're not always easy journeys.
So there could be danger on the road.
Exactly. You might run into bandits or wild animals or maybe even something worse.
Oh, wow. So even traveling between towns is an adventure.
That's right. You never know what might be lurking just around the bend.
Okay, I'm starting to get a feel for how this game works. You're always on edge, never knowing what's going to happen next.
Exactly. And then there are the plot cards, which add even more twists and turns to the story.
Right, we haven't really talked about those yet. What are they like?
These are the cards that drive the narrative,
Yeah.
the overall story of the game. Each card presents a new event, a new challenge, something that pushes the story forward.
So it could be anything like a message from the Duke or a rumor of a monster in the woods.
It could be anything, and these events often force you to make tough choices, choices that could affect the outcome of the entire game.
Wow, so every decision matters.
Absolutely, everything you do has consequences, and that's what makes this game so exciting.
Okay, so we've got the town cards, the road cards, the plot cards, and of course the map cards,
Yeah.
all working together to create this really immersive world.
Yeah, and don't forget about the hero miniatures.
Oh yeah, those are really cool too. They really capture the look and feel of each character.
And you use them to move around the map, to explore, to fight. It really makes you feel like you're leading these heroes on their adventure.
Right, and it's cool how each miniature is unique. You can really tell them apart, even at a glance.
Yeah, they did a great job with the sculpting and the painting. The details are really impressive.
Okay, so we've got the heroes, the cards. What about enemies? Are there miniatures for them too?
There are enemy cards, and each one shows a different creature, like wolves and goblins and things like that.
So you face different enemies depending on where you are on the map.
Exactly. And some enemies are stronger than others, so you always have to be prepared for a fight.
Okay, so the enemy cards tell you everything you need to know about each creature.
Right, you can see their strengths and weaknesses, their special abilities, all that stuff.
Got it. So it's not just about rolling dice. You have to use strategy and tactics to defeat your enemies.
Exactly. You need to know when to attack, when to defend, when to use a special ability. It all depends on the situation.
Cool. I like how this game combines storytelling with strategy and a little bit of luck, too.
The dice definitely play a role in the game, but ultimately your choices are what determine your fate.
Okay, so we've talked about the cards, the miniatures, the enemies. What about the other stuff, like the cubes and the dice?
Well, the cubes are really important. They represent your hero's attributes,
Right.
their strength, agility, knowledge, perception, all that stuff.
So you use those cubes to perform actions and overcome challenges.
Exactly. And each hero has different starting values for each attribute. So some heroes are stronger than others, some are smarter, and so on.
Makes sense. So you have to play to your hero's strengths.
Right. And as you progress through the game, your heroes might gain or lose attribute points, depending on their experiences.
So the cubes are constantly changing, representing the growth or decline of your hero.
Exactly. And then we have the dice, which add an element of chance to the game. You roll the dice to see if you succeed at certain actions.
Right, like attacking an enemy or trying to pick a lock.
Exactly. The dice add an element of unpredictability. You can't always control what happens.
Which makes the game more exciting.
Exactly. You always have to be ready for anything.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about the
Okay.
cards, the miniatures, the cubes, the dice, and all sorts of other stuff.
We've barely scratched the surface. There's so much more to discover in this game.
I know I'm already feeling overwhelmed, but in a good way. Like, there's so much to explore and experience.
That's the beauty of this game. It's a deep and complex world full of adventure and intrigue.
I can't wait to dive in and see what awaits us.
Me neither. It's going to be an epic journey.
So we've got the world all laid out. We've got our town and road cards. We've even picked our heroes. Feels like we're ready to jump into that first quest.
Almost. But our heroes, they need the right tools for the job, right?
Of course. Their equipment. We can't forget that.
Each hero has their own set of skills, their own way of fighting, so they need the right gear.
Makes sense. So where do we start?
Well, first things first, let's look at those hero boards again. There's a section for equipment. You'll see slots for weapons, armor, accessories.
Okay, I see those. They've got different shapes, like some are for swords, some for helmets.
Exactly. And each equipment card has a matching shape, so you fit the card into the right slot on the board, like a puzzle.
Oh, I see. So it's pretty clear what goes where.
And remember that diagram we talked about on the back of the hero board?
The one that shows which slots each hero can use. Yeah, I remember.
Right. Not every hero can use every type of equipment. A scholar might not be able to wear heavy armor, for example.
Right. So I've got my lance necked. I should probably focus on weapons and armor that suit his strengths.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now take a look at the equipment cards themselves. Each one shows the item in detail. And there's a lot of variety. Swords, axes, bows, leather armor, chainmail.
Wow. Yeah. There's a lot to choose from. How do we know what's best for each hero?
That's where the strategy comes in. Each piece of equipment has stats and abilities that can make your hero better in different ways. Some weapons are powerful, some are fast, some armor gives lots of protection, some makes you more agile.
So we need to think about how we want our hero to fight and choose the equipment that matches that.
Exactly. Do you want to be on the front lines, charging into battle? Or do you want to be more strategic, striking from a distance? Or maybe you want to support your team, healing them and boosting their abilities.
So many possibilities. It's like building a character in a video game.
And don't forget, there are special equipment cards, artifacts, marked with a red star.
Artifacts. What are those like?
They're powerful items with unique abilities. They can give you extra actions, boost your stats, even protect you from certain dangers.
Wow, sounds like we should be on the lookout for those.
They can really turn the tide of battle.
So I think I've got my equipment sorted out. What's next?
Just make sure everything's in its place, double check your setup, heroes on the starting map card, all the components organized, and of course, make sure you understand the rules of the game.
Always a good idea to be prepared. Well, thanks for walking us through all this. I feel like I'm ready to face the mist now.
Good luck out there. The world of hunters AD 1492 awaits. Sharp blades, keen wits, and remember, the mist hides many secrets.